Hello and welcome to another episode of the Motorsport Chat.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Darcy.
For the motorsport news this week, Max Verstappen was the winner of the first Formula One race for the 2023 season in Bahrain last Sunday, winning with a margin of 11.987 seconds.
The Formula 2 feature race was won by Théo Pourchaire on Sunday. The Frenchman started and finished first after getting pole position during qualifying on Saturday.
For the Formula 3 this weekend was a chaotic as ever race. Botello managed to get the race win for the feature race on Sunday. With more of a focus being placed on gender equality within sports and International Women's Day happening on Wednesday, the Extreme E Championship starts again this weekend. This is the world's first gender-equal motorsport series. The championship starts again this weekend in Saudi Arabia with the Desert E-Prix.
And finally, it was announced this week that Williams Academy driver and three-time W Series Championship winner Jamie Chadwick will feature on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list along with Mercedes F1 driver George Russell.
Last weekend was the first race of the season with the Bahrain GP.
As always, the weekend was full of surprises, most notably with Fernando Alonso topping 2 practice sessions and taking second in the other one.
But it was the Red Bull back on top as they took a 1-2 in qualifying. The Ferraris taking 3rd and 4th and both Mercedes in 6th and 7th.
Alonso didn't get the start he wanted in the race, especially after making contact with his teammate Lance Stroll on the first lap.
But after taking 3rd place and his 99th career podium, Alonso is clearly very happy with this year's AMR 23.
Pierre Gasly made a good impression in his first race with French outfit Alpine, going from qualifying last to finishing 9th in the race.
But it was a poor start for McLaren, who had to retire Piastri in his first F1 race debut, with Norris also having issues with his car and finishing dead last in P17.
Esteban Ocon was given 3 separate time penalties during the race and ended up retiring due to a mechanical fault.
Mercedes' George Russell commented that after the race, the Red Bull has got this championship sewn up and that they should win every single race this season.
This was after Sergio Perez said in the press conference following the race that it was nice to see 3 Red Bull cars on the podium.
Well,
very interesting comment from him.
Very interesting comment. Christian Horner also said that he found it very interesting and he was flattered at how similar the car was because they are very similar and clearly they're similar in pace as well.
Well, we've had a lot of Red Bull mechanics going to Aston Martin, obviously taking some tips from Adrian Newey there.
Yeah.
So
there's been a lot circling online of people commenting about the mechanics moving over, remembering a lot from their time at Red Bull, remembering parts of the car, taking that knowledge over with them.
Absolutely.
So I think we can clearly see it out on track that they are very similar cars.
Yeah.
And obviously they're catching up to the Red Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, Ferrari didn't have the best of starts. Everyone thought that they might be sort of fighting with Red Bulls, but again, not at all.
Yeah, so at the start of the race, Perez had an awful start.
Yeah.
Not a great start, and the two Ferraris, were side by side. I did think that they were going to get past, they were going to get through, but he did manage to keep P3.
Yeah.
But still, not the best start for him, considering he's in the fastest car, clearly, because they got a 1-2. But Ferrari, I'm disappointed.
Another DNF from Leclerc. It's not what you want in the first race of the season. Absolutely not. I don't think Fred Vasseur is going to be very happy with that.
Definitely not.
Onwards to Saudi, I guess.
Yeah, I did predict that Sainz would be on the podium.
Yeah.
But obviously he didn't get through. He got overtaken by Alonso and couldn't get to that top place. He didn't have the pace in the car.
Yeah.
Which I thought that Ferrari were going to be still at the top this year. I did think that they were going to be just behind Red Bull, possibly even closer than last year, but it seems like they've still not got that pace to push them all the way. Yeah,
McLaren haven't had the best start as well, I must admit. I thought that they were going to do better in the race, but I mean, Piastri DNFing, you've got Lando was having like 5 pit stops because of like hydraulic issues. It's not great.
It was an awful start for McLaren. In pre-season testing, there was a lot of talk about the team really struggling, not being where they want to be.
Yeah.
Them talk about updates coming throughout the season, but you want to start the season on a high.
Yeah.
Same with Mercedes. They thought that they would be faster this weekend.
Yeah.
Seems like it's been a big letdown. They've talked about bringing updates throughout the season.
Yeah.
But you want to start the season near the front of the grid, not building up and
yeah, exactly.
trying to get the positions throughout the season. It's not what you want, really.
And Lando said that the upgrades that they were meant to have at the start of the season, they're actually bringing to Baku now. So that's still
away.
A few races away
Yeah.
And if they're not bringing them races till Baku, then I can't see them doing much better.
No, not looking the greatest. But
yeah,
Aston Martin, I mean, Stroll, obviously with that wrist injury, we've seen the comments he's come out with on social media. He's done a post saying about his surgery and how he recovered. It's incredible if you look at the pictures, how he did recover in such a short amount of time, got into that car and got P6.
Yeah.
It's an incredible race by Stroll. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Obviously at the start there was the slight collision, the tap between Fernando and Stroll, which I think everyone's heart dropped for a second.
I don't think Fernando realised that it was Stroll though.
Yeah,
so
he did say something like, they can't do this.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that no one was taken out there.
Yeah.
That was good to see, because I think it was clear that they were going to do well this weekend, which they did.
I think Logan Sargent had a good first weekend though, because he matched Lando's pace in qualifying. Obviously 0 seconds separating them.
Definitely.
And I think he finished P13 and he said he was really happy with that. So for Williams, that's really good.
I would say, no, I think he did do a very good race. I'd say if you're within the top 15, I think for a first race that I'd class that as good. I wouldn't expect the points for Williams so far. I'd say Albon got P10, I think he got in the points. But I wouldn't have expected Sargent to have done that within his first race, especially when we know that other teams are going to be much faster, like Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, you know. So I wasn't expecting that. Bottas also had a very good start, but obviously couldn't get through the pace. He couldn't get up the grid throughout the race.
Yeah, I mean at one point he overtook both Russell and Alonso. Yeah. So that's good for him. Starting the season off strong is what you want from him, I guess.
I mean last year it was the same. I think he did have a really good start. Yeah. And he did get the overtakes in the beginning of the race, but it's throughout the race and towards the end where he just doesn't have that last kick to push through and keep his position. Yeah. And I also don't think Alfa Romeo do the best strategies, in my opinion. I think that's possibly where they lack.
Yeah, for sure.
I must say that watching Russell's car looks incredible with that green. I'm a huge fan of it. Watching it live on race, I think it looks so good.
It helps as well because you can see which driver's which, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but when I first started watching F1, I couldn't tell the difference between the cars and whose was whose, because obviously when you first start watching, you don't know like specific driver numbers and you're just watching like, well, I know that's an Alfa Romeo, but I don't know whose car that is. But I think with the sort of highlighted numbers, it really helps.
Definitely. I hope other teams bring that in the future, because I think it's really good. But I also noticed that some cars have the yellow on top, which really, I think that helps as a new person, because you think, oh, I know Hamilton has the yellow, Norris has the yellow. Like that's a good way to identify the drivers if you can't see the numbers.
I think that's what Crofty says that he does, is like, I think Lewis has the yellow on top of his roll hoop, and he says like, oh, that's, you know, that's Lewis Hamilton.
So I'd say that's definitely something to look out for if you're struggling with seeing who the driver is. The battles between Alonso and Hamilton, I was absolutely loving this. Because obviously we know they've not had the best relationship when they've been teammates in the past. So watching them battle out on track like we had, was it last year in Imola? Oh my God, I loved it. It was great. So he also had a battle with Sainz as well. He was really fighting to get through the grid.
I think Alonso's just great to watch. Like when you watch him race, you just know that he's a class act, and it's just really great to see. I mean, the race wasn't, I'm going to be totally honest, the race wasn't the best. You know, there was points where I was a bit like, you know, there's not much action, but I think Alonso carried that race, and just seeing him drive and, you know, have them battles, it was really great to watch.
Definitely. In my opinion, without Alonso, I probably would have switched the race off. There was not a lot of action. He brought everything by taking the overtakes throughout the grid. But yeah, I love Alonso because I think you could cover all the numbers of the cars on the grid and you'd still notice Alonso.
Oh yeah.
That was
He's got such a distinct driving style. Definitely. It's hard to miss him.
It's very aggressive, but I mean, it's great to watch, and he didn't take anyone out. So.
Yeah, that's always a bonus.
Yeah. Of course, Leclerc had his retirement this race, which is not the optimal start for Ferrari this season.
Yeah.
Disappointed season last year with a lot of retirements and issues, more strategy issues than anything. But to start the season with a car retirement, it's not a good place.
No. No, I mean, like last year, Red Bull started with a double DNF. Will, maybe it's a sign of things to come. Will Ferrari sort of bring it back? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's changed a lot throughout the team, so hopefully the new dynamics within Ferrari will bring some new racing. So, moving on to F2 and F3. So in F2 for the sprint race, we had Ralph Boschung, who won the sprint race, which is...
Won his first race in F2, so...
he did well last year, but didn't get a race win.
Yeah.
He was great in F3.
It's really good for him.
The year before, he's a great driver, and I think to start the season with the first sprint race winning,
it's what you want, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
gives you confidence for the rest of the season. You can sort of go on that trajectory and sort of do well with it. So I bet he'll be feeling very confident with that. Obviously, Teo got a win in the feature race as well, so maybe he'll be going for a championship. Yeah.
Starting on pole position, obviously. I think we all predicted that he would do very well this season last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think he's shown everyone that he's not messing around this year. He wants to prove that he should be in that seat. Whether there's one for him next year, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to be there for him.
Well, he's already part of Alpha, so I suppose only time will tell with that one.
Yeah, it would be nice to see him race because he's a great driver, and he missed out slimly last year, and I think he's really showing that he can do it this year. So for F3, obviously Marty won the sprint race, and then we had Bortoletto who won the feature race. Chaos as always. Love F3. Always chaos. If I could say to watch one thing, it would be F3 because it's honestly amazing to watch. But yeah, great racing as always. Can't say much more.
Yeah.
So moving on to Saudi predictions.
Yeah.
So for F1, what do you predict? Top 3, podium. What are your predictions, Darcy?
Now, Saudi's not one of my favourite races. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think it's a good idea, but I think when you're actually going racing there, it's like heart in your mouth sort of moments. Like Schumacher's crash last year was... Actually, that was a tough one to watch. I think it does offer great racing, but I don't know if you remember the first year we had it, there was the big crash with like 4 cars, out of the race, and like I say, it's good racing, but
dangerous track.
Yeah, it's not my favourite. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, but I just think that Red Bull, because they everyone says that they sort of build their car for Monaco, they sort of build their cars for the street tracks. Maybe they're just gonna take it again, I think, because...
With a bigger margin than nearly 12 seconds.
Well, yeah, because Saudi is like, tight, fast.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull's more suited to that, so...
Well, I think that I can see Red Bull doing well, definitely. But there's a lot of pressure. We've seen, was it 21 where Max crashed out in qualifying? He was on an amazing lap. And I think it's known now as one of the best qualifying laps ever. Even though he didn't even finish it, that just shows how close those margins are in that track. It's such a slim track. In my opinion, I think it would be better if there were a few runoff areas, possibly.
Oh, 100%. They need it.
Yeah, I think it would make the track much safer, which is what we want to see. We don't want to see the drivers not pushing the limits because they don't feel safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I think Max is going to take it at this race, but yeah, I don't know about Ferrari this weekend. I don't know what we can expect, but
no, I just think it's so up in the air. Like obviously, that Red Bull are going to sort of be on top. They've been on top from the start now. That's sort of set in stone. With Mercedes and Ferrari, I think it is a little bit. You don't really know what to expect at all. I think Sainz was complaining about a little bit of porpoising. I know that's been fixed pretty much now, but I just feel like I don't know what to expect at all with them. I just feel like that there's different issues with every race that they go to. So I think it's just going to be time will tell. We'll get to qualifying, see what's happening. Maybe Aston Martin again on the podium, but I think that the Astons will be quick again around Saudi. to be honest.
Do
So
you think that McLaren are going to have more issues with the car at this race?
Yeah, I'm going to be totally honest. I think when you start the season with a DNF and finishing last, it doesn't feel great. Like, I know it's sort of heads up onto Saudi, sort of, you know, pick yourselves up after it, but it doesn't do great for team morale, I guess. Yeah. And I think if they've not got the upgrades that they wanted, then with a track like Saudi where you've got to be on the ball and you've got to be focused, will it sort of affect how they're feeling? I'm not too sure with that one, but
I think Norris will perform and he'll get everything he can out the car.
Yeah.
As we've seen previously, will push the car to the limit. But I don't know, because I don't understand why they didn't retire him in Bahrain. I think it would have made a hell of a lot more sense then, finishing so far behind, P17, last in the race, pitting, was it 5 times?
It was painful to watch.
It was ridiculous how far behind they were, and it was pointless keeping him in the race because the car clearly wasn't going to get any further ahead. It was having so many issues, so it was heartbreaking as a McLaren fan. It was heartbreaking to watch them struggle so much. I
think in the end he was like +2 laps, and when you're watching that, it just makes you think, what is the point?
Literally.
And like you think he did like 5 pit stops because of the issues, and it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was definitely hard to watch.
Well, there we go. That's our predictions for Saudi. So, yeah, there we go. Well, thank you very much for watching. That's all we have time for today. We'll see you guys next week.
Keep up to date over on our Instagram at the Motorsport Chat.
Bye.
Bye.